He saw a girl being dragged into a van, and didn't hesitate. What started as one act of bravery became a miracle that rebuilt 4 broken lives. It was supposed to be just another ordinary evening. James Turner had just picked up his 6-year-old son, Benji, from his after-school art class. Snowflakes drifted lazily from the sky as father and son walked hand in hand toward their car in the grocery store parking lot. The world around them was quiet, almost serene, save for the crunch of snow beneath their boots and the soft hum of nearby traffic. But in the blink of an eye, everything changed. From the corner of his eye, James caught a blur of motion. A black SUV with its side door flung open. A teenage girl being dragged inside. Her terrified eyes locked with his for a single haunting moment. She didn't scream. She couldn't. Her mouth was covered. Her legs kicked uselessly as the man tried to shove her deeper into the car. James didn't think. He didn't hesitate. He shoved Benji behind a nearby parked sedan and sprinted forward, his heart thundering, his instincts overpowering any fear. At that moment, he wasn't just a father. He was a shield, a savior, a man who had known pain and loss, and who refused to let another child vanish into the shadows. If you believe in standing up for what's right, in second chances, and in the quiet power of human kindness, please take a moment to like this video, leave a comment, share it with someone who needs hope today, and subscribe to Kindness Corner. Your support keeps these stories alive and spreading light in dark places. James hadn't always been this man. Just 3 years ago, he'd been drowning in grief. His wife, Melissa, had died in a sudden car accident on a rainy November night, leaving him with a 2-year-old son and a heart that refused to heal. He was an accountant by trade, a quiet, steady soul who had always leaned on his wife's laughter to get through life's storms. After losing her, he barely held on. There were days when he forgot to eat. Nights when Benji's cries were the only thing that pulled him from the edge. He wasn't the kind of man people saw as heroic. He was just trying to survive. That night in the parking lot, when he tackled the man forcing the girl into the SUV, something reawakened inside him. The fight was messy and raw. James got punched, thrown against the door, and nearly knocked unconscious. But when the stranger tried to flee, James clung to his leg, screaming for help until others came running. The man was arrested minutes later. The girl, pale and shaking, was taken to safety, and James, bruised and breathless, found himself at the center of something far bigger than he could comprehend. Her name was Lily, 15 years old. She'd been walking home from a friend's house when the man, a predator with a long history of violence, snatched her. She would later tell police she thought she was going to die until she saw James, until she saw someone who didn't look away. For weeks after the incident, James tried to return to his quiet life. But Lily's mother, Hannah, wouldn't let him fade into the background. She showed up at his house with tears in her eyes and cookies in her hands, thanking him again and again. She was a nurse raising Lily on her own since her husband walked out 5 years ago. She was strong, proud, and visibly shaken by what almost happened. As they sat at James' kitchen table that day, watching Benji chase his toy dinosaur around the floor, an unspoken bond began to form between them. 2 single parents, 2 broken stories, quietly mending each other. Over time, Lily started visiting, too. She brought coloring books for Benji and helped him with his puzzles. James noticed how quiet she was, how her eyes flicked to the windows at every sound. Trauma had wrapped itself around her like a second skin. And so James made space for her, not with words, but with safety. He'd always believed that healing required time. But he was learning it also needed people, patient, kind people who simply refused to give up. What began as occasional visits turned into weekly dinners. Hannah would bring casseroles, James would make coffee, and the kids, though years apart, found comfort in each other. There were no expectations, no labels, just warmth in a world that had gone cold. But things weren't easy. James struggled with guilt over not doing more for Melissa before she died. Over the nights, he let Benji cry alone while he sat paralyzed on the couch. He wasn't sure he deserved happiness again. Hannah, too, had her share of pain. She blamed herself for letting Lily walk home alone that night. Her hands never stopped trembling when they talked about it. Then, one snowy evening months later, Lily spoke. They were decorating James's modest Christmas tree, Benji asleep on the couch under a pile of blankets. She looked up at James, her voice barely above a whisper, and said, "You made me feel safe when I didn't even think that was possible anymore." Those words hit him like a wave. It wasn't just about the parking lot. It was everything after, the dinners, the board games, the quiet, slow rebuilding of trust. That night, after Hannah and Lily left, James sat by the window and cried. For the first time in years, his tears weren't just from grief. They were from hope. He realized he had saved a life, but he had also been saved. Spring came, and with it, laughter. Hannah and James took the kids to the park together. They planned movie nights. Lily began therapy. Benji called Hannah Miss Hahn and clung to her when he scraped his knee. Slowly, a family began to take shape. Not one born of blood, but of choice, of kindness, and of timing so divine it couldn't be ignored. But fate wasn't done yet. One day, James got a letter. It was from the man who had tried to take Lily from prison. It was short, scrawled in shaky handwriting. He said he had seen the news report, the one where James and Hannah spoke about healing, and that something in it had made him want to apologize. James stared at the letter for a long time. He would never forgive the man, but for the first time he didn't feel anger. He felt resolve, to protect, to show Benji and Lily and the world that darkness didn't get the last word. One summer morning, nearly a year after that night in the parking lot, James stood in his backyard watching Benji chase bubbles while Lily laughed from a lawn chair. Hannah stood beside him, holding 2 glasses of lemonade. She leaned over and whispered, "I never expected any of this, but I think Melissa would be proud." James looked at her, his heart full, and said softly, "So would your daughter." Sometimes the most unexpected acts of bravery are the ones that change not just one life but many. James never set out to be a hero. He was just a man trying to be a good father. But that one moment of courage became the beginning of something bigger than himself. Love, family, redemption. If this story moved you even just a little, please hit the like button. It helps us share more of these powerful moments. Share your thoughts in the comments below. And remember to subscribe to Kindness Corner for real cinematic stories that prove love, hope, and courage still live among us.